I don't know anybody. I am by myself. A mix of emotions.
Mm.
Initially, yay, I'm doing this because it's something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I am going to Great Britain. I am the answer to my tribe's issues.
Hmm.
I'm going to help my family. I am the difference maker. My name has been plastered everywhere in all the papers. So there is really no point in me getting reinstated now. And then yeah, so that was it. So I could apply to be reinstated, but mentally and emotionally, I'm not in that space. I was old enough then to feel the pain. In
Yeah.
as much as my mom's super positive, I could see the heartbreak in her eyes.
Yeah.
She wouldn't actually verbalize it, but you could see. So for me, that was the turning point. I
Hmm.
decided that I was going to become a solicitor. I was going to become a lawyer. I was going to stand up for other people, other women like my mom who'd face such injustice. For years, I've been silent when this whole public smear campaign started.
Hmm.
It started in, I think, 2018, 2019. People called me everything under the sun,
Hmm.
everything but the child of God. And I remained silent.
Hmm.
I did not utter a word to even try to defend my position because I knew that whatever I said would be used against me.
Did you know there's a technology that's actually an app on your phone that uses sound waves to tell your brain what you want your brain to do? We had a young man that was on a guest on our podcast, the Mike Litton Experience, who had a traumatic brain injury. He was sleeping 3 hours a night. He's using NewCalm now and he's sleeping more. Go to newcalm.com, Mike15 promo code. Newcalm.com, promo code Mike15 for an extra 15% off. Go today.
Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience podcast. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. Mike is passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
Julie Condliffe, thank you so much for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience. Like we talked about before we hit record, everybody has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. So, with your permission, we're going to start with where you were born, go up to today, and then we want to talk about this amazing book that you wrote called Unbreakable. Thanks again for being here.
It's an absolute honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Mike.
This is going to be a lot of fun. So, where were you born?
I was born in Zimbabwe in a little village called Bindura,
Hmm.
last born child. My dad was a busy man. He had 8 children, well, with my mum, but then he got married again and had some more children.
Wow.
So anyway, from my mom's side, I'm the last born, and dad died when I was only a few months old, which is a shame because I didn't actually really get to know him.
Yeah.
But I'm told he was a very friendly and great man. So I just hold on to those memories. So that's where I was born. We struggled a lot when we were little because obviously after he was shot in the War of Liberation, mum struggled with the 8 of us.
Mm.
We didn't have any access to benefits like we do here in Great Britain.
Mhm.
I'm not too sure, obviously, whether people get, social benefits where you are. I'm sure they do. But in Africa, literally in a very remote place, or even in the upmarket places, it's very difficult to get benefits. So
Mm.
we struggled a lot, but I was little, so lucky in a way that I didn't actually face as much of the struggles as my older siblings would have done. But even through all of that, Mike, we were a very, very happy family.
Mm.
So we didn't have a lot, but
Yeah.
we had a lot of joy. We had a lot of happiness. We had a lot of contentment.
Yeah.
So we were happy with what we had, because my mother created that sort of environment
Mhm.
where we were just happy.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a very, very sad, struggling every day, complaining about what we don't have. Not at all. It
Mhm.
was, what do we have today?
Yeah.
You know, we've got bread, we've got a roof over our shoulder, or I do apologize. We've got a roof over our head, and that kind of stuff. So that is my upbringing. I can get into a lot more detail if you wanted me to tell the journey of, growing up and all the rest of it. I don't know how much information you need.
Well, my problem is I want all of it, right?
Oh,
And so right? So I'm just naturally curious, but let me ask you this. So did you grow up in Zimbabwe your entire childhood?
yes,
So
yes, I
when did
did.
you actually leave Zimbabwe?
A really good question. I left Zimbabwe in November 1998.
And how
So
old were you?
I don't, Mike, I can't tell you that, because if I told you how old I was at the time, you'll then be able to calculate how old I am now.
Oh, I'm not that good at math. So
Okay, here's the thing. I was young, okay? And we're gonna end it there. I was young when I left.
let's do this. What grade were you in school?
I finished my A levels.
What's A level?
Oh, right. What's A levels? So do you have GCSEs where you are?
I'm not sure what
Like
that is.
high
Sorry.
school? All right, okay. So here in um I was under 20.
Okay. That's good enough. So
Okay.
had you completed high school?
Yeah, I completed high school, but I hadn't
Okay.
gone to university
Okay.
yet.
So
Yeah.
that was why I was asking. So what was your favorite thing about growing up in Zimbabwe?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Because that's actually positive. Because my whole story, my whole history is super negative.
Mm,
So I love the fact that we were a very happy family,
yeah.
and I enjoyed school, loved playing basketball. So
Mhm.
I did a lot of sports. I did basketball, I did swimming, and yeah, so I loved that side of life.
That's cool. In high school, did you have a favorite subject?
I loved English literature,
Hmm.
because I've always seen myself as very analytical. So reading stories, analyzing characters, and loads of other different things. Really, really enjoyed that. Enjoyed history as well. And I always wanted to be a solicitor. So I knew that it would be good to understand and love history
Yeah.
and English and English literature. So I enjoyed that a lot. And it's still the same now. That's why I write books, read books, and analyze cases and all the rest of it.
So in high school, did you have a favorite teacher?
Favorite teacher. I can't say I did have a favorite teacher at all. I had a teacher I disliked passionately. Um, so, so I remember that. But yeah, all my
That
teachers
part
were,
I'll never forget.
well, there's certain things that you just
Well,
remember.
I've got you. It's like seared in your mind, right?
In high school, you think, okay, I did not like you, and I'm not sure I do like you even now. But yes, so that's the long and short of it. But yeah, really, really positive memories from
So
school.
I think I know the answer to this, but who was the most influential person to you growing up?
My mom,
Yeah, by far, it sounds like.
my mother, she was the most incredible woman.
Yeah.
Like, I was so blessed to have a woman like her, such a positive force, such a positive influence. And I think the person that I am today, all the positive qualities are literally because of my mom, because there is nothing at all that I cannot do. There
Yeah.
is nothing at all that I cannot achieve. And I think it's such an important mindset to have. And I think as parents, it's really important for us to nurture that and to encourage our children to realize that they can become anything at all, they can do anything at all, they can achieve anything at all, because as I said earlier, we didn't have that much money. We were poor, literally with a capital P. But when I decided that I wanted to be a lawyer, though I was little and there was nothing at all that could actually warrant me being a lawyer,
Mhm.
I'll tell you why. For example, going to university, you've got to pay money.
Mhm.
We didn't have money, I didn't
Right.
even know whether we were going to have money to fund my education. I
Mhm.
used to go to school with no shoes on because we didn't have money. So we were that poor. But when I told my mom that I wanted to become a solicitor, she believed in me. Not only did she believe in me, she nurtured that dream. She started referring to me as Gweta in my vernacular language, which means lawyer.
Mhm.
So anything I would do, because we didn't have a sink or anything, I would wash, the dishes outside, and she'd be like, "Maita Gweta," which means well done, my lawyer child. And yet there was nothing in the natural realm that could show or that could evidence that I could ever become that.
Mhm.
But because she believed in me and she instilled that in me, that's what gave me that power to be able to say, once I grew up, Mom, could I go to the United Kingdom to study law? Because I haven't been accepted at the local university here, and we only had one university. And my mom found it so difficult because I was her last born, her little child,
Mhm.
going to a country abroad. None of us have ever been out of the country. And there I was saying, I have a dream. I want to go abroad. I want to study law. I want to go to the big world. And guess what her answer would be? Of course.
Yeah.
It's not, we don't have money. It's not, where are we going to find the money? Where are we going to find the resources? It's not like that at all. So then my family had to club together. My brother, my eldest brother, had to borrow money and put together £500 for me to be able to achieve this dream of mine. And I was allowed to come over to Great Britain. All I had was £500, a heart full of dreams, and a little suitcase
Mhm.
to chase this wild dream that was occasioned because my mother believed in me. And I knew, as well as she did, that saying goodbye probably meant that I wouldn't be there when she died. And she was my best friend, like literally. So, yeah, that's it.
Wow. Wow. Your mother sounds like a saint.
I wouldn't say a saint, but you are right. She's an incredible woman. She
I
would
love
shout.
this woman, man. I love this
Oh,
woman. And I feel like that's a real lesson for parents, right? That your child can do anything if you just believe in them enough, right? And they know that you believe in them enough, they're capable of anything. And I want people to understand that, because so many people are like, "Oh, it might be really difficult for you to go to the UK. It might be really difficult because we don't have any money. It might be really difficult to do this. It might be really difficult to do that." Right? That's not what your mother said. Your mother said, "Yeah, you're my lawyer child." Right? I mean, amazing. Absolutely amazing. What an amazing woman. So as you're growing up in your childhood, how did your childhood affect who you are today as an adult?
significantly, significantly, because after father died, we then moved to a totally different city. We moved to the
Mhm.
big city, which is Harare. My mother found a job working as a housemaid for this benevolent woman called Auntie Maggie. She was a white lady and really, really caring,
Mhm.
for us as a family. So we got all the hand-me-downs,
Uh-huh.
from her children,
Yeah.
which was, we were so grateful
Mhm.
for. And she allowed us to live on the land, and we had like a makeshift house that
Mhm.
we called, a home. So going through all of that has significantly affected who I am today, because what happened was mom worked for over 5 years for that lady, and then we got to a point where she was also doing other odd jobs here and there, going to like factories where
Mhm.
people would be making clothes, yeah, clothes factories, and then
Mhm.
she would ask for all the little pieces of cloth that
Mhm.
people would discard, and then
Mhm.
she would bring them home in the nighttime. She would sew them together, making blankets out of those things. So she was very, very um resourceful.
Resourceful.
Yeah, she was really resourceful.
Yeah.
And so then that was like a side business. And then she would sell those blankets over. And she had a deal with Auntie Maggie where she said, look, if I worked for you for an additional 5 years, would you be kind enough to sell this little piece of land and this ramshackle thing we call a house? So at least we could own that. And Auntie Maggie was very generous. She said, yeah, of course. You work for 5 years. I don't give you any money at all. And then that's it. You will have that. So we did
So
that.
that was her payment.
Yeah. So that was a payment.
Wow.
Absolutely, Mom. So we did that. Well, I say we did that. I didn't. Mom did that. Mom worked. And then 5 years later, we managed to get the property. Oh my goodness. That was just so incredible. You know, a dream come true. And then a few years later, guess what happened?
Mm.
Auntie Maggie died. And when she died, her children refused to honor that agreement.
Oh, no.
It wasn't in writing, Mike.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we were kicked out of that place that we had now called home.
Mm-hmm.
I was old enough then to feel the pain. In as much as my mom's super positive, I could see the heartbreak in her eyes.
Yeah.
She wouldn't actually verbalize it, but you could see. So for me, that was the turning point.
Mm-hmm.
I decided that I was going to become a solicitor. I was going to become a lawyer. I was going to stand up for other people, other women like my mom, who would face such injustice. This was wrong, Mike. It should never, ever have happened. So we didn't have any money for solicitors to defend our case. So to answer your question, what bearing did my childhood have on me now? My background is everything.
Yeah.
So that's what pushed me to come to Great Britain to become a solicitor. That's what pushed me to want to have, justice and help other people achieve that.
Had you made the decision to be an attorney before all this happened with that house and that piece of land?
Oh no, it was after.
So you watched all this happen, which quite honestly was an injustice.
It was an injustice. So I'd been told the story before of the when my dad died, when we were kicked out of the village, because I think we missed that part, because we jumped to the school. We talked about my
Well, go
school.
back. Let's tell us the story.
Yeah, thank you. So if we could just rewind a little bit.
Sure.
After father died and mom had to struggle in the village looking after 8 of us, mom was kicked out of the village because they said she had a doing in my father's death. My father was shot in cold blood during the War of Liberation. But for some reason, her relatives, his relatives, my father's relatives, decided that my mom had some doing in that. And she did not. She was heartbroken. She just lost her husband in cold blood. She had 8 children to look after. And then she's kicked out of that, a village, a place she called home. This is all she knew. So that's why she had to go to where? To the city. And then the Auntie Maggie scenario, which we talked about.
Yeah. Wow.
My siblings shared this whole story with me before. So I knew about eviction. I knew about injustice, but I hadn't experienced it because it's a totally different thing to know about something and to experience something.
Oh, absolutely. And to watch somebody that you love dearly go through it.
I know.
I mean, that's the hardest part. And then that feeling of not being able to do anything about it. I mean, now that you're a lawyer, right, you could absolutely handle this situation. It's just back then you were a child and, you had to, I mean, how did that, when all that happened with your mom and the heirs to your aunt's estate, and aunt, I mean, is, she's not literally your aunt, right? She just kind of, right, you adopted her as your aunt. So how did that make you feel when you watched your mom go through that?
Oh, I felt a lot of negative emotions.
Yeah.
It was just wrong.
Yeah.
It was just wrong. I don't think I've got any other adjective to describe that situation, but it ignited in me that fire, that drive, that passion for change, that passion for justice, not just for myself, not just for my family, not just for my mother, But I figured there are other people as well
Mhm.
who go through that,
Yeah.
who may
Every day.
every day,
Yeah.
Mike. That's what happened. So then I would watch television. I started watching, I always call it Ali McBeal, but it's not. I'm sure is it LA Law or something?
Okay.
But yes, some American TV program about
Yeah.
law. And there was a lady there called Ali McBeal. She would always be fighting cases and winning, though. So at a set time every day, I would be looking through the window of a neighbor's house watching TV because we didn't have TV, a television at our house. So that was that. So all of that was just igniting this passion,
Mhm.
which is then what led me to ask for money to come here to Great Britain to study law.
So what was it like to leave home, go to the UK with a small suitcase and 500 pounds? You're by yourself. You don't know anybody, right?
Nope, I don't know anybody. I am by myself. A mix of emotions.
Mm.
Initially, yay, I'm doing this because it's something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I am going to Great Britain. I am the answer to my tribe's issues.
Mhm.
I'm going to help my family. I am the difference maker. This is exciting. So,
Mhm.
yeah, let's do it. And the reality starts to hit.
Yeah.
I'm leaving everything I know,
Mhm.
my family, and I am super spoiled because I'm the last born child.
Yeah.
Oh, how am I going to navigate this? But I did it anyway. It was the whole journey to the airport was one of the scariest experiences of my life at the time because it was just like goodbye. And goodbye meant goodbye because I didn't know whether I was ever going to see these people
Yeah.
or not. So there was that pain of saying goodbye to what I knew. And then there was that fear, that degree of uncertainty.
Mhm.
I'm going to a whole new world. I know no one. It's just my sister's friend who I'm going to meet somewhere and live with. Never met her. I don't even know her. So
Mhm.
that was really scary. And then getting to Great Britain and being told that, ringing the number and being told that you need to catch a tube. I'm thinking, tube. What is a tube? Right. Is that like one of the tires? Is that like the thing in a tire? How can I catch? Then realizing that it's a train, it's an
Mhm.
underground train. Everything just looks so much bigger, you
Mhm.
know, totally different experience. And then the struggles then that I went through, and then being homeless in Great Britain, and then sleeping in a payphone booth. How do you handle all of that?
Mhm.
But not just that. I couldn't tell them. I couldn't tell my mom. I couldn't tell my family that this whole big dream that I had has now become a nightmare.
Mhm.
That the money that they had borrowed for me to achieve this big dream, that's all fallen apart like a $2 suitcase.
Mm.
How do I tell them that?
Wow. So you get to Great Britain and you're, let's be honest, a little intimidated, right? Scared, the whole thing. And you're going to go live with your sister's friend who you don't know. Take us through that. So you end up living with her and then all kinds of things happen that are, for lack of a better term, way beyond your control, right? So when you got there, what did you learn and what all happened?
Um, what did I learn? So what happened was I stayed with them, really beautiful family.
Mhm.
I stayed with them for a few weeks, and December is one of the coldest months in this country. So I stayed with them for a few weeks, and then they indicated that the Home Office people, the immigration people, were
Mhm.
going to visit, and that the immigration people wouldn't appreciate me being there. So I needed to leave. And so I had to pack my suitcase quickly to leave. But I didn't know anyone else, remember? So
Yeah.
I had no idea. So I thought, where do I actually go at this point? But everything just happened so quickly because it needed to happen so quickly. The immigration people were coming. Um, and that was it.
So
So
how long after you landed were you told that immigration was coming?
sure, about 6, 7 weeks.
So did you not have like a visa or something to go to?
I did, but it's when you're in somebody's house and they tell you that this is what's happening and you need to go, they are saying that my position could prejudice their position. I just came as a visitor, so I was still okay there, but I don't, at the time, now looking back, there are quite a few things that I could challenge in relation to, you know, that particular incident, but I would rather not, because obviously this podcast is watched worldwide, and I don't want to say anything that could be incriminating to that particular family.
Gotcha.
But the long and short of it is, they presented a scenario that the immigration people were coming and that I needed to leave. So
Because your presence there was going to compromise their status potentially. Okay. Okay.
absolutely. So for me, then, I didn't have time to interrogate them, to
Right.
ask them about how
Or
they feel.
challenge or whatever. You just had to go.
Well, this is it. If someone tells you it's time to go, and
Yeah.
if you're a visitor, then you cannot overstay your welcome.
Right.
So that was that. So I left. I caught a bus, one of those red buses, and that was it. I didn't really know where I was going until we ended at the last stop, and the driver just said, "Oh, gotta get off. That's the last stop." And I got off, walked around Golders Green, walked around, and then I saw the red payphone booth.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, I knew that that was going to be my home, at least for that night.
So you stayed the night in the phone booth. That had to have been comfortable. And then what happens the next day?
Oh, good Lord. So I start making phone calls. Obviously, I ring them because they're the only people that I
New.
know.
Yeah.
So I ring them and I ask them whether the immigration people have now gone, whether I could come back. And I was told that I couldn't actually go back there, but they could, arrange elsewhere for me to go. So I went and I stayed with another family, and that was okay.
So you go and stay with the other family, and at some point, do you start going to school?
Oh God, yes. So I stay with another family, and then months and months, start working little by little, start doing like childcare, looking after, taking children to school and things like that. And then my paperwork is getting sorted, and then I find a place at university, at the University of Hertfordshire in Northampton, in Hatfield, to study nursing, because nursing is the only thing that I could study at the time, because I didn't have to pay fees. So they would give a bursary. So I studied nursing for like a year and a half. And that was really, really helpful. And while I was doing that, I was also considering my law studies, but I needed to get a foot in the door and study nursing, which was great. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the experience, but I just wasn't cut out to do it. That's why I couldn't finish it. So I struggled with basic things like when we went on placement, if I needed to like inject a patient, I would find that very difficult because I felt like I was inflicting pain physically into something, which of course I am, but it's part of the healing process. So it's not something that I was cut out to do, but it's something that I was willing to do, to, as a means to an end.
So you did what you had to do.
I did what I had to do, as I always do in life. So I studied nursing, and then I did my law part-time. So I would study part-time, work during the afternoon, go to McDonald's, and then in the nighttime work at nursing homes, looking after the elderly, to be able to get enough money to pay for my tuition and also to send money home. So I did that for a very, very long time. And then I worked my way up, working, learning, and then qualifying as a solicitor, and starting properties and stuff like that. So, it's a long journey. But anyway, the long and short of it is I qualified as a solicitor in the end, not using the conventional route. I had to do what's called ILEX, which is Institute of Legal Executives Training, because I needed to work and learn. And then after that, convert it into a law degree. I was lucky. I was really blessed because when I qualified, I managed to work for some of the biggest and the best law firms in the country, which was incredible. But I don't know whether you know about the latest part of my journey, the latest part of my story, where I was taken off the roll of solicitors after all of that.
I did not know about that, but I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a real quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about when you were taken off the solicitor's role. That part I didn't know. That's incredible. We'll talk about that when we come back. Did you know there's an app that has no side effects that allows you to use sound waves to tell your brain what you want it to do? It's called newcalm.com. And it's amazing. It literally uses sound waves. If you want to tell your brain to go to sleep, if you want to tell your brain to recover, if you want to tell your brain to put you in peak physical state, if you want to tell your brain to focus, if you want to tell your brain to take a power nap, you can do all of these things and more with newcalm.com. Go to newcalm.com today, promo code Mike15. Newcalm.com, promo code Mike15 for an extra 15% off. Go there today. All right, we're back with Julie Condliffe, and we're talking about so you've grown up in Zimbabwe, you've moved to London or to England, and you started in nursing training. You were working, it sounds like, in a convalescent hospital type thing, working with older patients that needed care. And so you're taking care of them, and you're working your way through school. And you got through school and you became a solicitor. Took a lot of time, you said, because you had to work your way through, right, and do law part-time, that kind of thing. So you end up becoming a solicitor, and then at some point they take you off the rolls. Will you tell us about that?
Sure, yes. So that happened this year on the 17th of January, 2025.
And you'd been a solicitor for how long?
Oh, for very long, over 15 years.
Okay.
Yes.
So why?
So in 2017, what I decided to do, having practiced law for quite a while, and as I said, I was blessed enough to work with, really good law firms, big, small, and all the rest of it. I thought to myself, Julie, your story is incredible. Remember you asked, why don't you set up a platform where you can give back, go back to your own community and help the next person who might be in exactly the same situation. You've now got a decent property portfolio. You've made it in law. So there are other people who are still where you were before. So what that? Then I thought, okay, how do I do it? I'll set up a platform on social media, Facebook. I went and I set up a platform where every would wake up at the crack of dawn. I would post inspirational things and I would tell everybody my story, my journey from where I was. And I would just say to them, I want to inspire you. I want you to know that you can do it too. But here's how I did it. And I would explain to them how I did it. Then I thought, why don't I actually write a book for them? Why don't I put it in a book? And then I wrote my first book, which is called Strategies for Investment Success, where I tell them how I started off with £500 investment wise, use creative strategies like rent to rent, lease options, and all the rest of it to build this portfolio of mine that's now worth over £1 million. So I thought, this is good, let's share. I shared and I just became sensational. Everybody loved Julie, brilliant, which is fantastic. And then people started investing and I would help them deal source. So I would source a deal for serviced accommodation, give it to them on a rent-to-rent basis. For some people, it really, really worked, Mike. Some people, it didn't. So I had about 6,000 people on my platform, hundreds of people buying properties, sharing all their testimonials. But out of all of those people, at least 5 people were disgruntled because things didn't go according to plan. You know, as well as I do, that property investment, there is no guarantee. The market fluctuates. Things go wrong, things go right. There is never any guarantee. So for the people who were successful, they would sing Hosanna in the highest. For the people who failed, or failed is a harsh word, who perhaps didn't do as well as they had anticipated, they would then say, crucify her. And then they came together and they said they're going to report me to my regulatory body, which they did successfully. And I was investigated from 2020 to 2025. I had over 5 different investigators, 5 different investigations. First one, they couldn't find anything. Second one, couldn't find anything. Third one, couldn't find anything. They still couldn't, until the last one decided that he found something. And then that's it.
Wow.
I lost everything that I dreamt of since I was little.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And today is the day I'm not going to cry because, yeah, it's been a lot.
So that happened in January of this year.
Wow.
So January of this year, they take you off the solicitor rolls. So what's next in that journey? Are you working to get back on the solicitor rolls? What are you looking to do after this or after that?
Sure. So I've got a court hearing in September this year, and the court hearing is, I really can't get into a lot of intricacies, but it's one of the parties who took me to court about a property deal, a lease option that I got for them, that they later said wasn't legitimate or whatever reasons, which is all public information, so people can see that online. But what the Solicitor Regulatory Authority, when they did the intervention on the 17th of January, they said to me, Mrs. Condliffe, you can apply today to be reinstated under Rule 13, I believe, and you should be able to be reinstated because it's on a suspicion. It's not on a finding fact. But I said, no, thank you. I don't want to do that because I've already been publicly shamed. My name has been plastered everywhere in all the papers. So there is really no point in me getting reinstated now. And then, yeah, so that was it. So I could apply to be reinstated, but mentally and emotionally, I'm not in that space at all. I don't want to do that. What I want to do, as I've always tried to do, even in that instance where I failed dismally, which has led now to my demise or the demise of my career, all I ever really wanted to do, Mike, was to give back. All I wanted to do was to share my experiences, share my story, and help the next person, which is why when I was going through this investigation in December, the whole thing was still under investigation. I went back home to Zimbabwe, and as part of that, I went through South Africa, and I went to Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela's, former home, that Matchbox house that they had. And it was a moment of enlightenment for me. Enlightenment it was. I went back to my hotel room and something inside me told me that it's time to write your story. It's time to tell your side of the story. That's when I started writing the book.
Wow.
That's when I started writing my book, which I know we're going to touch on. Unbreakable. Because for years I have been silent. For years I've been silent when this whole public smear campaign started. It started in, I think, 2018, 2019. People called me everything under the sun, everything but the child of God. And I remained silent. I did not utter a word to even try to defend my position because I knew that whatever I said would be used against me. So this is the first time that I say my side, and I say that through my book, Unbreakable. And I don't say it to defend myself, Mike, but I tell the story to help the next person because I'm not the first person who's ever lost their career based on what somebody else has said. I'm not the first person who's ever been cancelled on social media. So there are people who are going through what I have gone through. So this book is a book of hope.
Mhm.
It's not like a trauma dump. Like, this is what I've gone through. It
Right.
provides a roadmap, like a step by step, to say, hey, look, this is what I went through. And
Hold it closer to the hold it closer
oh,
to the camera. We can't see it. There you go. So it's called
yeah,
Unbreakable. Hold it a little closer. It's called Unbreakable. There you go.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and people can get it on Amazon, by the way. I was just on Amazon right before the interview. And people can get it there. Also, there's Julie Condliffe co.uk, right?
yeah.
Which is an amazing website. I love it. So, and I want to talk about that too. So, but keep going. I just wanted to make sure that people knew about the name of the book and what it looked like and how to get it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mike. Um, so this book was part of my healing
Yeah.
journey, because when you lose everything that you hoped for, everything that you built since you were little, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
You're surviving though. You're surviving and you're thriving, and I'm proud of you. You know, it takes a lot to go through what you're going through. It really does. And it tests who you are as a person, right? And it sounds like to me, correct me if I'm wrong, you're leaning, which you should, on that girl in Zimbabwe and the experiences that you had, right? And the things that happened in your life that, for lack of a better term, kind of toughened you up a little bit, right? This sleeping in the payphone booth, all that type of thing. I
yeah,
mean, let's be honest, they don't exactly come with a made up bed and pillows and right. I mean, this is one of those things where your life has been one challenge after another, and you've not only survived it, you've thrived through it, and you've come to the other side, and you've done really, really well. If there's anybody on the planet that can pick themselves back up and get after it after everything that you've been through, it's you. And your whole life story prepared you for this, right? You've literally been prepared to handle this. I tell people all the time, and my kids and anybody that'll listen to me, that God puts us through these things because we're literally going through them so that we can be prepared. So one day we can come alongside somebody else who's going through it. And one of these days we can sit with them and say, hey, right. And that's kind of what your book is. Your book is titled Unbreakable. And it's about all this that you've gone through,
yeah.
and it's your opportunity to tell your side of the story. Okay. And it's also your opportunity to pick yourself back up off the ground, right? It's not what life throws at you, it's how you respond to it. Okay. And this is a big deal in terms of how you're responding and basically taking this on head on. And you're gonna succeed. You're gonna prevail in this. It's just a matter of time, and it's a matter of continuing to put one step in front of the other.
Thank
Your
you.
mom taught you a lot about this.
She did. She did. And I appreciate you, Mike, for saying that. You are absolutely right. So I am going through it. And like you said, I believe that I will help the next person who might also be going through it. Not because I've made it, not because all the pain is gone, because it's still there,
Yeah.
but just because I'm a few steps ahead. So where I was yesterday is not where I am today.
Right.
So if there's somebody else who's just been hit by this, I can say to them, it's going to get better,
Mm-hmm.
because I am better. I am not fully healed. Healing is a process,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it? But what I've learned through the process is that there's purpose to your pain.
Mm-hmm.
There really is. And I am learning that, yes, I may have been kicked out of the courtroom, but I haven't been kicked away from my calling. So
Right.
now I'm from the courtroom to my calling. I have learned that they can strip off, that which I dreamt of, my dream, my lifelong dream. But what they can take away from me, they cannot take away something inside so strong,
Mhm.
something that is unbreakable.
Yeah.
They cannot touch my soul.
Yeah.
They cannot touch my spirit. I have got a power that's inside of me that's even more powerful than I am. So
Mhm.
that is what I tap into when I say unbreakable. So that's the message that I want to give everybody, that you might break down and cry sometimes because it does get difficult.
Mhm.
But what I want you to know is that you are unbreakable. So bend if you must, but break, no, don't. Do
Mhm.
not break. That's the message that I share in this particular book.
Gotcha.
Mike.
Okay, so there's a couple of things that are on your website that I want to talk about,
Sure.
if it's okay. One
Yeah.
is the Unbreakable Reset. The second one is Visibility Vault. And the third one is Mind the Gap. Will you talk about the first one, Unbreakable Reset, for a second?
Yeah, sure. So Unbreakable Reset is just really to help people who are or who've gone through burnout, who've gone through a breakdown, who've gone through public shame, who've gone through a divorce, who've gone through a life transition that changes everything for them. It just helps them to take a step back and just reset. Because what happened in January.
Mhm.
And I needed to go through certain steps before I could be able to even string a conversation like I am with you. So Unbreakable Reset just helps people go through that reset, all the steps that I use to be able to get from where I was to where I am now, where I'm now speaking on stages, empowering other people, writing a book, and all the other different things. So Unbreakable Reset is that. Is the first step that then leads them to the retreat, because I'm hosting a retreat called Rest, Reset, Reignite. And it starts from just that reset. So the retreat will be just people going through a similar experience where we all rest, because I think we need that. After you've gone through something like that, you just need to rest. And then after that, reset and then reignite whatever your passion is. Because, like I was saying a few minutes ago, they took away my title,
Mhm.
but they didn't take away my calling.
Yeah.
So, in as much as people may have thought that, yeah, she's been stripped of everything, you can't strip me off of my core, of my true being.
Mhm.
Do you see? So, whilst I may not have the title of solicitor, I am reclaiming who I am, who I've always been. And that's that.
Well, they can't take away who you've built, right?
It's true.
Over
So,
all of this time and all of these experiences and all of these ups and downs and sideways and backwards and right? I mean, this has been quite a journey for you, and it's been quite a learning experience. That's the thing that they can't take away, is that learning and that developing and knowing yourself, right?
yeah,
Because of all the trials and tribulations. I mean, you meet yourself staying the night in a phone booth, let's be honest, right?
true,
That's a
true.
time when you're going to meet yourself. You're going to learn a lot about what you're made of,
Yeah,
right? So
true.
number 2 was Visibility Vault. Will you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, sure. So, Visibility Vault is just helping people get ready for visibility. Because there was a time, Mike, where I really loved being visible. I
Mhm.
wanted to be visible because we all know that visibility is where it is. Everybody
Mhm.
wants to be visible. But in January, when the news headlines hit, I wanted to be invisible. I just literally wanted to be invisible.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
Crawl under a
yeah.
rock somewhere and just not come back out, right? You know? Yeah.
Literally, because I just couldn't identify with this person who they were saying I was. So yeah,
Mhm.
I just really wanted to hide. But the long and short of it is the visibility vault is when you're starting out or reinventing or coming back out again after hiding from that rock. You want to prepare yourself. You want to be ready. So the visibility vault helps prepare people, to go back out in the world, or people who just want to be visible, because we've got lawyers who perhaps were not out there on social media, professionals who are not out there on social media. What do you need to know
Mhm.
before you get out on social media? You want to be prepared before it hits you. So the
Yeah.
visibility vote is one of the first steps. And then the next step would be mind the gap.
Right.
Mind the gap is mind the gap between the time you have the vision, mind the gap between the time you have the dream and the actual manifestation of the dream, because
Gotcha.
there is a quiet gap that most of us don't talk about. You have a vision. You know that, oh my God, this is what I want to do. This is a brilliant idea. And then you put all the wheels in motion and you think, yep, I'm going to hit it. I'm going to get clients tomorrow. But there's that quiet gap where nothing happens. So mind the gap is an encouragement. Mind the gap is, what steps do you do? What do you do in the silence between the promise and the delivery of the promise? The manifestation.
Awesome. And that's a big deal because people need guidance there, right? They need guidance. They need help when it comes to that. So the name of the book is Unbreakable.
Yes.
And you can get it, like I said, you can get it at Amazon. I saw it on Amazon. Is there anywhere else that you can get the book?
Yeah, they can also get it from the website, juliecondliffe.co.uk.
Okay, so say it again. It's Julie Condliffe, and it's CONDLIFFE .co.uk.
Yay, that's the one. Thank you, Mike.
Well, I just want to make sure that they have it, right?
No, thank you. No, I really appreciate that.
Is there anything else you'd like to cover before we wrap up?
No, not anything particularly, but I just want to encourage people that, okay, I may have been tearful, I may have gone through a lot, but everything that I went through for a reason. And if the reason is just to help you, get through what you're going through, then please, by all means, get in touch with me. Because I believe that the obstacle is the way, and I believe that there is purpose to your pain. So whatever it is that you may be going through right now, I want you to know that nothing lasts forever. It will definitely get better. And if it means it's just a telephone call, a complimentary one where we just sit down and talk, then please do contact me. But it will be well in the end.
Awesome. And they can get your contact information through the website.
Yes.
juliecondliffe.co.uk.
Yeah.
Julie, thank you for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience. This has been a lot of fun.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Can I ask you a question? Did you know that there's a technology that uses sound waves that'll tell your brain what to do? There literally is. It's called newcalm.com. It can tell your brain to heal, tell your brain to sleep, tell your brain to do all kinds of things. It can get you fired up. It can be a pre-workout. Newcalm.com, and the promo code is Mike15. Newcalm.com, promo code Mike15 for an extra 15% off. Go today.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at the Mike Litton Experience.